Coach's Show, and welcome to week number 9 of Gulfport High School Admiral football. Hey, your Admirals continued their tear through Region 4 last week, traveling to West Harrison and picking up another regional win. We came out with a dominating performance in all 3 phases of the game. We leave West Harrison with a 42-14 victory. We now sit atop of Region 4, the only undefeated team, and we are in control of our own destiny. Good stuff there. Coach and I are going to recap that game in just a few minutes. But let's review our show tonight as we have a lot of special guests. Our first guest in the coach's spotlight will be our offensive line coach, Coach Justin Jones, who has done phenomenal things with our offensive line. And you can see their progress every week. I think we had our best performance this week. They just get better and better and better. So we got a great show for you tonight. Coach and I will be able to recap that game in just a minute. But before we get to all that, it's kind of a big deal this week, right?
Yes, sir.
Because we have Biloxi on the schedule, BBB. And also, it's homecoming week. So we've got a really, really special week. So I'm not going to waste any more time talking. Coach, welcome to the show.
Man, appreciate
awesome
it, Brad.
Performance last week.
Absolutely. Thank you, ma'am.
It's a special week, like I said, and homecoming week. And, of course, we have Biloxi, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's our big rival.
I know you get nervous early in the season when the administration comes to you like, hey, Coach, which one do you want to be the homecoming week? And you start breaking down the schedule, and then you have with the way it goes, you only have a handful of dates, right? Because the first game, obviously, against Picayune, you're not going to do a homecoming that early in the season. The next time we play at home is Petal, and so that's still probably early. You don't want that necessarily. Well, then the next home game, we're at an intercession. The next home game is right now, right. Because then you got senior week, in a couple weeks, and so it's just kind of a different deal. You get homecoming, then you have Biloxi on top of it now, and we're on a roll right now. So I mean, it's kind of this big stew pot of gumbo right here to make what's going to happen Friday night a lot more special.
So we have homecoming, and we have our rivalry with Biloxi, which is the most historic rivalry in the state, right? Been going on since 1920.
Yeah.
What does all this mean to you and your team, and just really kind of feeling that chapter of history? And
well, I think it's cool. I got a chance to kind of look through some of the old rivalry pages, look through the books and everything, and see kind of the different scores, and just think about kind of going through the history of it. You've played the same team every single year since 1920. I mean, that is unbelievable as far as that consistency of that rivalry and everything. And so you see a lot of domination on the Gulfport side and the blue and orange and all that. And Biloxi has its couple little pieces there, but you start talking to some old coaches and some old people that have been around, older people that have been around the history of the rivalry, and so everybody's got a great story. That's always the coolest thing is hearing that and trying to relay some of that stuff to our players so that they understand what the magnitude and what it means to the people in the community of Gulfport in this game.
Yeah, and we talked about it's homecoming week as well, right? So with all the festivities, I think we have a homecoming parade. We had to bump this show up a night.
That's right.
With all the stuff that's going on. We've got alumni, a lot of alumni here. I see one out there, Jonathan King, a former teammate of mine. It's just good to see everybody come in homecoming week. But with that, right?
Yeah.
There comes some distractions for the players and stuff. Right. How do y'all keep them
well, you got to handle it delicately, right? And it is an exciting time. I've gotten a lot of texts from a lot of different people, a lot of saying, congratulations, coaches, on the wins. Hey, we're going to be at the game. We're having, class reunions and different things. And so that's really cool. And everybody's going to be at the game and that stuff. And so you got a ton of distractions. And homecoming week nowadays with the kids brings a million distractions. Everybody's outside with paintball guns protecting their house between either getting egged or getting rolled or doing all these things, and the kids are out late at night. And so the biggest thing is what we challenged was the maturity of our team, and we talked about it early on in our team meeting on Monday, and how are you going to handle it, and I'm not naive enough to say, hey guys, don't participate in any of it. You get to be in high school once. And so enjoy those things, and these are the things that make high school sports and high school just activities in general special. But do we have to be out at 2 o'clock in the morning, and then you waste the next day not being able to focus and concentrate in those things? Or can we wrap this thing up at 11, get in bed, be in time for rest, and have a good breakfast and that kind of stuff? And so, hopefully I haven't gotten any bad reports yet, and so hopefully our team this late in the week has handled everything well. Now, the big challenge after practice today was how do you handle the last 48? You mean in the last 48 hours leading up to the game, are we going to get our rest? Are we going to get our nutrition in? Are we going to be able to handle ourselves and our focus the right way leading up to the game? So far being good, testing the maturity of our team. I think we're going to handle it well.
Yep, good stuff. So, guys, we're going to run to our first break. But before we do, we also want to keep you guys around for a special guest we'll have later in the show. Mm-hmm. We'll have legendary Coach Ronnie Cuevas on our set. Coach, this will be a special segment to me in particular because I played for Coach Cuevas. Coach Cuevas is the all-time leading victory among coaches in Gulfport High history. That's really, really cool. It's going to be a great show. Good segment coming up next. Coach and I will recap the game, but certainly good stuff later on the show, so y'all stay with us. We'll be right back.
We would like to take this time to remind you that Gulfport football's Big Men in the Trenches are sponsored by Gulfside Periodontics of Gulfport. Speaking of trenches, don't let the trench mouth or any array of gum diseases affect your quality of life. When it comes to strong teams, you know the foundation matters. And when it comes to your smile, Gulfside Periodontics is the MVP. From advanced dental implants and laser gum therapy to expert periodontal care, their team is trusted by families across the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Located at 423 Security Square, Gulfside Periodontics of Gulfport uses cutting-edge tech to treat gum disease, restore your smile, and keep your oral health in championship form. No pain, no pressure, just precision care. Contact Dr. Thomas Carter and his staff at Gulfside Periodontics today. Visit them at gulfsideperio.com or give them a call at 228-205-4843. Thank you, Gulfside Periodontics of Gulfport, for supporting Gulfport High Admiral football.
I moved to Gulfport High School my 10th grade year. I was at another high school freshman year. 10th grade year I was virtual, so I hadn't stepped foot on the campus at all. The teachers, they didn't really even know who I was, but they were very helpful in accommodating anything. It was a hard time for everyone, so they were very helpful. 11th grade year when I finally moved on campus, it was great. Everyone was very supportive of the things I wanted to do. They have a place for everyone to belong, whatever you want to do in life, and it's really great.
You can keep up with all things related to Gulfport Admiral Athletics by following the Gulfport Athletic Department on Facebook and Instagram. You can also find each individual team pages on major social media platforms for game day posts, schedule announcements, scores, and more.
Welcome back to the Coach's Corner. And we just want to thank our sponsors here at Woody's Roadside. They do a phenomenal job. Another great crowd this week. If you're in the neighborhood, please stop by. It's homecoming week. It's Biloxi week. We need your support. Come on out and have some fun with us. We have about 50 minutes left in the show. All right, so here we go with our recap of last week's game. A dominating performance. We traveled to West Harrison.
Oh, yeah.
Come out of there with a 42-14 win. What impressed you most about the performance last week, Coach?
Well, I tell you this. One of the cool things about it was, the Gulfport crowd.
Yeah,
man, it was packed on our side, and that was a good thing. And we ended up having several guys on the other side just because you couldn't really fit anymore over there. So the Gulfport faithful traveled well. One of the biggest things, I thought. Instantly, we scored on every single drive in the first half. And then 4 out of our first 5, 6 out of 7 drives for the game, we ended up scoring touchdowns on it. And so just the overall execution, I thought we did a really good job on offense, continuing just to move the ball consistently downfield. Made some big plays in the passing game, obviously played some tough in the run game. One of the more physical defensive lines we've played this season across the board there for those guys, and they do a good job with that. And able to adjust on the fly. They had kind of had some things defensively they had done pretty consistently throughout their tenure there, and they changed it up on us. And so we were able to adapt and adjust. And so I was really proud of that. And then obviously defensively, we limited the running back, right? And then Jordan Stapleton was a great running back, has made a bunch of big plays in their in their running game, and really limited him early. He had a huge kickoff return for nearly a touchdown, which got him inside the 10. They ended up scoring on a 4th down there. Then they had another long drive, and they ended up scoring out of the backfield. We're still trying to figure out how to cover. But other than that, we dominated the game up front, completely tackled. They threw the ball maybe 3 or 4 times a game, per game early in the year, and then us they end up throwing like 12, 13 passes.
Yeah,
right.
Which is
and
a lot for them.
Well, yeah, it's a ton for them, and so I think it's a testament to our front seven and being able. They knew that they weren't going to be able to run the ball consistently, so they kind of grasped at a bunch of different straws early in the first half, or throughout the first half, and then came out in the second half trying to just chunk it all over the yard, which is not their game. And so eventually, once they kind of wilted to that, and we stretched it up and got the lead pretty far out in advance, man, I thought we did a great job. It was a really good team win.
Yeah, and a really good team, that West Harrison
Yes,
team.
absolutely. And that's likely a playoff team, And so I thought we went out on the road and handled our business. I'm continuously impressed about how we play on the road when we travel. We kind of lock in and zero in, and it's kind of us against the world and eliminate distractions and stuff. So I've really been impressed the way we've been able to go on the road and play.
Right, and our offense scored 6 out of 7 drives.
6 out of 7 drives. That's right. We had a one snafu. We went 3 and out. Our wide receivers decided they just kind of didn't want to play football that game or that series. We had quickly adjusted that real fast and was able to go out the next series, make some plays, and and executed really well.
Yeah. And Parker looked good. Our quarterback, Parker Nettles, stood out again last week.
Yep.
You want to talk to Admiral Nation kind of about what stands out mostly about his growth you've seen so far this year?
Just decision making. He's done a phenomenal job. He continues to operate our offense to near perfection over the last month and change, and understanding like he doesn't have to be Superman. Right, and if he's the point guard of the offense and distributes the ball where it needs to go, whether it's based on our RPO system, our boot game, we take enough shots. We got some guys making some plays. I mean, he went 19 of 22 for 220.
Wow,
and a couple of those one was a drop and another was a throwaway. So I mean, that's it shows you to the level of consistency that he's playing with. I think the confidence that he's playing with our guys just continues to elevate his game, and we're going to need that as we go on to make this run to a state title. And so the more dangerous he plays, the better. The more that Amaje Frederick kind of emerges as an offensive threat for us. And we all know what Cooper can do, and then our wideouts are coming on and playing really well. Mylan Stubbs is continuing to be consistent in that intermediate range. Really proud of him. And so just kind of coming in his own, and Parker's kind of the catalyst for some of that.
Yeah. You mentioned defense, kind of touched on them briefly earlier. We shut down their run game, right? Yeah. I mean, and that's what West Harrison hangs their hat on. I think you mentioned they threw more than they typically do, and that was only 12 times, which is a lot for them.
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
What stood out to you? What were our keys to success? How do we make that happen?
I think the biggest thing, we end up, we do cookies. Miss Brooke does cookies after victories. All right, and she does these chocolate chip cookies, and they're for specific guys that do kind of the under the table type thing. It does the stuff that doesn't fill up the stat sheet, but are key to victories and that type of thing. And she writes little notes and all that stuff for them. But one of them, when a guy got a cookie, Maven Daniels today on defense, we play a package on defense against teams like this that you have to just jack up the tight end, and that's your job. And it's a thankless job. You're probably not going to fill up the stat sheet doing that, but if you don't do it, they're going to run all over us. And so he knew that going in and did just a phenomenal job, really controlling the edge, controlling the run game, not letting them get outside on the buck sweep. And so did a phenomenal job doing that. And so the catalyst to that is just everybody doing their job, playing as a unit, not trying to play hero ball, and tackling really well. I thought we were really physical at the point of attack. And so the more that our guys are setting the tone for that, man, the better the defense we are.
Well, Coach, we're playing really, really good football right now, right? I mean, we talked about it on the set now for 4 or 5 weeks in a row. All 3 phases have shown dominance, and I'm very cautious to say dominance. How close are we to playing that championship level ball coming down the stretch?
We still got a ways to go, but we're close. We're close, and the biggest part of that is staying healthy, right? And you go this stretch of long games, you got to remember we had our bye week in week 2. So our guys have been, in which that came after the loss of Picayune, which if you remember way back when Cooper Crosby told you, it wasn't a bye week. It was a let's get after week, and so we haven't really had an off week per se, and so the bumps and bruises of that's a big thing. But the way our guys are believing, we end up, but I always like having going into this week, we had a kind of a come to Jesus on our kickoff cover unit because we allowed 2 huge returns in the game. And so you always like kind of having you don't want to be playing your best ball right now, but you want to be getting close to playing your best ball. And so I think we're really close. I thought our punt units are great. Our punt return's doing a phenomenal job. Kickoff return, because nobody's kicking it deep to us, right? So we have to adjust on the fly every single game to something new, because they're not going to kick it to our deeper guys and that thing for a fear of a return. But, we ended up did a good job handling that stuff. And so getting closer to that, I love the way we're all on the sideline. We're communicating well. We're doing all the things. Our coaches are doing a great job getting everybody ready Monday through Thursday and making adjustments on Friday. So we're getting closer and closer each and every week. So hopefully we're climbing and peaking at the right time.
Yeah, man, you mentioned special teams. I love to see Coach Tywater's game plan each week.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just been such an impact with the special teams unit.
He's been disappointed the last 2 weeks as we hadn't got a punt, but it's credit to what we're doing, because they lined up in a particular punt formation that we're about to block this. We are about to block this. And then we had it already all week long, and then they got out of that and went to a tight punt. So it didn't really give us the greatest opportunity ever to get it. But so we ended up adjusting, holding them up, got a couple of great returns. And so that was a great thing for us. And that's happened the last 2 weeks for us. But, it continues to put the pressure, because this is the thing. Now, if we don't block it, that's okay. We'll hold everybody up, and then we'll go return it. We got a great guy right there in Cordarius Payton to return the punt as well. Good. So it's been great with that. And then we got another 40-yard average punt with Carter Platt too, and then Shaw Killebrew. We went for an onside kick. We had the opening there. Went for a surprise onside. Thought we had it, and we ended up not getting it done. But that stuff, you should keep using it as a weapon for us.
Yep. And other than the special teams, Coach Zach Green, our DT, he just keeps on. Our DC just keeps on showing up with some dogs each week, man.
The minister of mayhem. Those
guys are fun to watch.
Yes, it is. They play with a ton of passion. He coaches with a ton of passion, and those guys on that side of the ball, man. They're earning the dark side mantra right there.
So that's West Harrison. We'll wrap it up, seal it up, and now it is moving on to Biloxi BBB week and BBB. Homecoming week.
That's right.
A great victory, a dominating victory. We're going to seal the deal on the West Harrison week right now, but we'll close out by saying it was a 42-14 decisive regional victory, but we're on to Biloxi this week and our homecoming week. Big things happening here at Woody's right now. If you're in the neighborhood, stop by. We're going to jump to a quick break, but we'll be right back with our Coach's Spotlight with our offensive line coach, Justin Jones. It'll be really good to hear. Y'all stay with us. Thank you.
Tonight's Coach's Corner is being brought to you in part by Harborview Oral and Facial Surgery Center, located at 1301 25th Avenue, Suite 3, right here in Gulfport. Whether you need dental implants, bone grafting, wisdom teeth removal, cosmetic work, or several other procedures, Dr. Jason Rossetti and his staff have you covered. Their cutting-edge technology and personalized recovery plans help you heal right the first time so you can get back to smiling with confidence. Contact them at 228-867-0121. Their office hours are Monday through Thursday from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and Fridays from 8 to 12:30 p.m. Thank you, Dr. Jason Rossetti and your staff, for supporting Gulfport High Admiral football. Hey, Admiral Nation. Your football team and coaching staff wants to take this opportunity to say thank you for all of the support and encouragement shown so far this year. The team's hard work is certainly paying off. The Admirals are sitting in first place in Region 4 and looking forward to the remaining opponents on the schedule. Admiral Nation, let's continue to show out for the Admiral football team. Let's make sure to have a lot of fun and make lots of noise at the remaining games. Don't forget, the Admirals have only 2 home games remaining before the playoffs begin. And those 2 games involve big-time rivals in Biloxi and Harrison Central. We will host the Indians on October 24th and the Red Rebels on November 6th right here at Milner Stadium to close out the regular season. Admiral Nation, we need your continued support to finish the season strong and begin our playoff run. So, on behalf of the Admiral football team and coaching staff, thank you, Admiral Nation, and anchor down.
Hey, welcome back to the Coach's Corner. We want to take this time to thank Woody's again. Woody's our signature sponsor here tonight. They have a great atmosphere, a great crowd here. We've got some famous alumni out in the audience. I see Jonathan King out there, my former teammate and linebacker. Always good to see him. I see the legendary Ronnie Cuevas, Coach Cuevas, sitting right here, right in front of the set. Hey, folks, stay tuned. The next segment, we'll have Coach Cuevas right up here with me in a great interview. But right now, we are going to spotlight our O-line coach, right? And we all know our O-line's looking really good. Coach Justin Jones, thanks for coming.
Enjoying it right here already.
Man, Coach, we've enjoyed watching that whole group, your group. I mean, y'all progressed all year long. What's your secret, man?
Man, it's just a consistency about how we come to work every day. It starts in the off season, man, and we just have a bunch of guys that are selfless. They buy in, they know we have a standard, and they love being around each other, and they want to play for each other, and they just appreciate that aspect of the game. And they've kind of become students of the game and technicians at their craft, and just something that playing together they'll remember for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. Well, they've been outstanding, and they've gotten better week to week, right? That's been the most impressive thing to me, and I'm sure a lot of other folks as well. But let's take this week, this West Harrison game, right?
Yep.
We score on 6 touchdowns out of 7 drives. The O-line, your front guys, your big guys are responsible for that. They're a big part of that. What did you see from them against West Harrison that kind of changed? I mean, they looked like they were just full speed, man, a different level.
Yeah, I thought, a lot of your base schemes and things that you install starting back in January and February, they kind of, the first day you start with a very similar structure to what West Harrison plays. So we knew it wasn't going to be very complex as far as what you're preparing for, but as far as the defensive lines go, they're probably the second best unit we've seen all year. So it's going to come down to winning your one-on-ones and being clean in the run game. And I thought in the first half it was some back and forth because they've got guys that can make plays. They did some things to create some negative plays, and then we would bust a big one. But really, I told them what I was most proud about was in the second half, you started seeing a line of scrimmage getting vertically displaced. We started opening up holes where really could kind of step on their throat and put them away. And that's what you want to be doing. You want to withstand that long 12-round fight, and when it's time for the knockout punch, you lay it on them.
Yeah, well, that was certainly visible out there. They looked mighty impressive, like I said. Well, your unit is really paving the way to be one of the elite units of elite rushing attacks on the coast, while also protecting the passing game as well. How much pride do your guys take in that balance?
Well, it's kind of our whole identity. From the start, we try to make playing the offensive line something that's exciting. It's fun. It's a big part of the game. It's the reason we win. Things like that. And I feel like that. Some certain aspects that we do as far as creating our identity. We call ourselves the trench dogs. We are.
Trench dogs.
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
it. I mean, we've got a trench dog sponsor in Thomas Carter from Gulfside Periodontics. He takes care of us.
That's right.
I mean, we calculate every week how many knockdowns we got. We call them dragons. Our knockdown blocks, and we're going to be dragging our belly across these guys. And then the guy that has the most gets to carry out the dragon hammer the next game.
That's cool.
You've seen us with that big sledgehammer with the dragon stickers all over it. But we want to be a factor. We want to be playmakers in the game and not something that's kind of an afterthought.
Yeah.
And imposing our will up front and just being guys that can execute the scheme. And you look at our areas of growth this year, it's been, well, hey, you started with a unit that did not have many guys that played meaningful snaps. We only had 2 returning starters.
Right.
One of those guys has been out most of the year with an injury and had surgery, and he's recently come back. And then one other guy had played some meaningful snaps, but not very many. So you see their awareness of what we're trying to accomplish, the nuances of the scheme. You see their confidence growing. They're seeing the game through one set of eyes and communicating. And that's just been the secret sauce, really. It's just coming to work every day and accomplishing those things because of that commitment and that just, hey, we're never going to grow tired of the details.
Yeah, and detailed we are. And so preseason, coming into the season, I think it's fair to say one of the question marks was our own line, right?
No, without a
doubt. We were
doubt.
pretty sound everywhere, and there was a big question mark. Could we protect our quarterback? And, I mean, it's just been a tremendous surprise, and watching those kids progress from week 1 to now. It's a really good effort.
There's no doubt. I mean, we had 3 seniors signed last year to play at the next level, and then 3 seniors a year before that. When you lose 6 college guys in the span of 2 years, all right, somebody's got to step up.
Yeah.
And, man, they took the challenge head on, and I just couldn't be happier with everything they embody and stand for.
Okay, so we're in Biloxi week, right? The oldest rivalry in the history of the state. Been playing since 1920. It's also homecoming week.
Yeah.
So how do you balance, right? I mean, it's a big game. It's always a very physical game, but now we got to kind of play with the emotional battle of getting our players ready with all the distractions and what have you with homecoming week. Can you speak to that?
Well, early on, you tell them, obviously, guys, let's get this out of the way. This is BBB week. You know, I'm not a coast guy from North Mississippi, but I was quickly made aware when I got down here just exactly what that game means. It's bigger than you guys. The whole community buys into it. But at the same time, there comes a time where you have to put the emotions of it aside, and you just get to work doing what we do every day. It's time to go in. We're going to look at the base, the front, the structures, the blitzes, our schemes, and our protections, how they line out. Are there any ID issues, what we want to do? And it's just literally just getting into the details and the process of preparing for the game of football. And then you just say, hey, it's going to be a 12-round fight because you're about to get these guys best. They have some guys that can make plays. They're not the biggest defensive line we've seen. They've got length and speed. They're going to have movement. They're going to try to create problems there. So you're trying to make sure that that's what they're prepared. The game itself, and not worry about the outside distractions. Because at the end of the day, you got to put your hand down, line up, and play ball.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Coach Pinnock has told me and told a lot of people just about how proud he is of the culture you have created with your group, right? He says it's the best of any group on the team, which says a lot because we have good culture in every group. But how important is building that culture to you and your offensive line?
You know, it'd be cliche to say it's everything, but it is, and I appreciate Coach saying that. But you know, long before I came here, earlier in my coaching career, it's kind of almost fate that I guess me and Coach Pinnock kind of wound up together. That we're both, you know, above the line guys. Every summer for at least 15 years, my guys have signed a contract as we go into the season, and it's an expectation of the Trench Dog unit. And those things I feel like embody exactly the above the line. You guys probably see the hashtag ATL stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That we are trying to create here and in our program from all the way up to the bottom, the vertical alignment in that. And things like the setting the standard, winning habits in everything we do. It's not a light switch you can turn on and off. You have to come every day. Accountability, then that we are all responsible for the product we put on the field, carrying our indie drills to the film. Does it show? Are we getting the young guys ready? Being committed. I feel like the guys we have, if I told them to come up at midnight on a Saturday and let's get some work in, they would do it if they knew it was going to get us a win. And then just the discipline and toughness to play through things that are adverse and to handle negative things that happen and just play through injuries and boo-boos, you know, as we say. That's what you got to do in this game when you line up and put your hand down in the trenches.
Yeah, that's fantastic stuff. So before I let you go, I have one question, okay, and it is a bonus question. We're talking about culture, Coach, right?
Yeah.
How good your culture is. I mean, Coach Pinnock said it himself. You have the best culture on the team.
All right, here we go.
So I am going to pose a question for you, and I want to see how you would handle it.
Okay.
How do we handle it, and according to your culture, when one of our players forgets his equipment to go to the game?
Well, in the moments, I probably didn't have a winning habit and handle it too well. I didn't probably keep my cool, but this is a violent sport for violent people that get angry sometimes, and you kind of show that. But you know that, hey, you know we all make mistakes, and you know everybody can't be a Mensa member, but we got some guys, very intelligent guys that handle the variety of schemes we throw at them. But maybe sometimes they just forget something simple as, hey, make sure I got my bag, right? So
that's right. Well, hey, thank you so much for coming on.
I appreciate it.
Phenomenal segment there. I think Admiral Nation sees how detail-oriented you are and just how you progress with your O-line. It means a lot to us. It's very visible. It's good stuff. Thank you very much for coming on, Coach Jones.
Yes, sir.
And it's only fitting that we have our O-line coach on this segment, and we'll follow it up with my former head coach, Ronnie Cuevas, who was an O-lineman at Gulfport High and was also an offensive lineman at Mississippi State. Great segment coming for you next. Please stay where you are, Admiral Nation. Our head coach, our former head coach and legend, Ronnie Cuevas, will be back with us next. Thank you. Stay with us.
Are you ready to relax, recover, and feel rejuvenated? Well, we'd like to remind you to take a time out with Revive and Thrive, located at 1073 Acadian Drive, right here in Gulfport. Come enjoy their saunas, cold plunges, contrast therapy, and rejuvenating salt room, or even shut out the world in their sensory deprivation float suite. With state-of-the-art equipment and over a decade of combined experience in the field, these Gulfport High alums are ready to tailor their services to empower you to thrive. So, whether you're getting ready for your next big event or just wanting to feel rejuvenated in your daily life, contact Revive and Thrive to book an appointment or ask about membership options today. Thank you, Revive and Thrive, for supporting Gulfport High Admiral football.
In this changing world, you need to set a course for your future, preparing to navigate life. Ranked one of the top districts in Mississippi, Gulfport School District provides a superior educational experience, anchored in academic excellence, athletics, and cultural activities. Great things are happening here for everyone. Where it all comes together, you can find your place and build your legacy. So come aboard. Your future success will flourish at Gulfport School District.
There's great things happening every day at Gulfport High School, and you can see them on our school's Facebook page, Gulfport High School Academic Institutes at Gulfport, where you'll find student accomplishments, club activities, and our weekly newsletter, The Admiral Anchor. Keep up with what's going on in clubs, organizations, academic classes, and the AIG. You can find the newsletter on the Gulfport High School webpage. Just go to our school tab and click on Admiral Anchor. It's another way to keep up with all the things happening at Gulfport High.
Welcome back to the Coach's Corner, and welcome back to BBB Week. It's Biloxi Week, Gulfport. We need you to get out Friday night and support these guys. It's also homecoming week, right? So let's get there. Let's continue our dominance in this rivalry. Support our guys. They deserve it. All right. Our next segment is very special to me, and that will have my former high school coach and legendary coach, Ronnie Cuevas, who has the most victories of any Gulfport High coach in the history of the football program. Coach Cuevas, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Brad.
Good to see you. I need to clap for you, too. And look, I see some of your former players out there. Where's Jonathan King? I see him out there. That's pretty cool. Trey Sutton sitting next to him. Coach Cuevas, you have a great support group out here. I see my son out there cheering for you. He's heard about Coach Cuevas his whole life. Coach, we love having you here, man. So I want you to kind of take Admiral Nation back and let them know kind of your history here in Gulfport. You were born in Gulfport. You played for Gulfport High. Right. Kind of take us up to when you went to college.
Okay, I grew up in Gulfport, and I always loved playing football, and it all started on the playground for me.
Yep.
You know. Yep. And then junior high, West Junior High, then went to Gulfport High School and played. But when I was at West Junior High, I'm going to tell you something now while we're talking about me getting into college coaching.
Okay.
Coach Callahan, Lindy Callahan, was athletic director.
That's right.
He came to one of our football games when I was in middle school, junior high, and he talked to us about, carrying on the tradition at Gulfport and all that. And when he got through talking, I was in the 8th grade, and I walked up to him after he talked to us and said, "Coach, I want to be a coach one day, and I want to come back and coach for you."
That's a cool story and an absolute true story. I remember you telling us that in 9th grade when we come up for summer workout. Yeah. So you're a kid, and you tell legendary athletic director and coach Lindy Callahan, "Hey, Coach, I'm going to come back, and I'm going to be a head coach here at Gulfport High."
Yeah, that was my dream. And,
that's awesome.
I played at Gulfport.
And not only did you come back, you became the winningest coach.
Well,
you must have had really good players.
I had great quarterback and linebackers and running backs, but it all started when I played at Gulfport High School. I always wanted to play football in college, of course, but I was 5'11", 228 pounds, playing offensive line. Undersized, but I got a football scholarship at Mississippi State and played at Mississippi State and graduated from there and started my first coaching job in Ocala, Florida.
Okay.
And when they combined the schools at Gulfport High and Gulfport East in 1977, Coach Lindy Callahan called me. I was in Ocala, Florida coaching, asked me would I come back and coach at Gulfport.
Wow.
And be the offensive line coach.
And so this was 1977.
1977.
So you were at that's the year you came to Gulfport High?
As a
coach?
As a coach.
Okay.
1977. that year, J.E. Lloyd Cano was the head coach.
State championship.
State championship. That was the last state championship Gulfport's had.
Yep.
And when I played at Gulfport in 1970, Gulfport High, we won the state championship in 1970 also.
Right. Good tradition.
Right. But 1977, I had a great offensive line. I have to tell this story. 1977, Gulfport Admiral offensive line consists of Bill Bell, Roman Grace, Bobby McAtinas, Arthur Wiley, 4 offensive linemen.
That was your first O-line group when you came to Gulfport.
Right. And
that's pretty cool.
All 4 of them signed a football scholarship with Mississippi State.
Wow.
It's unbelievable.
A lot of talent there.
Unbelievable.
All right, so you come here in 77. What year were you named the head coach?
1990.
1990, that's correct, because I came up as a sophomore in 91 for your second year as a head coach.
Right.
Kind of tell the Admiral Nation kind of a summary of when you got here. I mean, there's legendary stories that we had 100 people in the locker room, and after you got done with them, there was 37 or 42.
Yeah.
I've heard many numbers. Please tell Admiral Nation just a brief story about when Coach Cuevas got here, what it looked like when the dust settled.
Well, when I got the job in 1990, I decided that we were going to go back to old-timey football, blocking and tackling, and we put a lot of discipline. I think you win by discipline.
Absolutely.
And
that's what you did good.
We had about 120 players out, and when I started in 1990, and by the end of the season, we ended the season with 37 players.
30.
We had to retake the pitchers.
Did you really?
We did.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. So you had to retake the pitchers because most of the people quit because it was too hard.
Yes.
That's one thing I will say, and like I said, I'm a former player of Coach Cuevas's, and I've got many people played for him out here, former teammates. There was no team that was as disciplined as Coach Cuevas's teams. This team, this staff reminds me a lot of Coach Cuevas's staff. Never self-imposed penalties, great tacklers, very disciplined, and everybody just kind of bought into the program and having fun. I mean, nobody had more fun than we did back in the day, right?
No.
Okay, so that's kind of summed you up becoming the head coach. Now I want to look. There's another legendary story that I've got to get you to tell, Admiral Nation, and I know it's going back to when you were in high school, but I can vividly remember, JK, you can too. We were in Biloxi week, I think it was our junior year, and you tell us the story of when you were at Gulfport High, and it was Biloxi game day, and you had a test to take, but all you could write was one thing to every question. Can you please tell Admiral Nation that story?
I took.
Wasn't it BBB on every answer?
No, it beat Biloxi.
Beat Biloxi.
Beat Biloxi. Every answer I wrote in on the test was beat Biloxi.
Coach, you were destined to lead the Admirals, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to get that story out there. That was good.
The Biloxi week, it was always big for us. And, Biloxi didn't beat us very many times.
That's right.
But if they ever beat us, we never crossed the Biloxi line. We never went to the mall. We didn't hang out over there with the Biloxi people.
That's right.
So we, it's a big rivalry game.
So that was the story I wanted him to tell about the Biloxi theme, but we're going to stay right there on the Biloxi theme. So you see this new staff coming in. I said it reminds me so much of us back in the day, with the most disciplined team in the state.
Right.
What does this whole rivalry still mean to you?
Well, it's the oldest rivalry.
Yeah, exactly.
1920. Really, the only thing I hate, they moved this game up instead of letting it be the last game of the season.
Yeah.
Because, it's always good to end with the rivalry game.
Yeah.
And I think that is the rivalry game of two cities.
Yeah. I think they say the same thing as well. I think their last game now is D'Iberville, right?
Yes.
And I think they would say the same thing. But it is what it is. We have them this week.
Right.
This is a huge week. This is a good week, right? Festivities and everything. But I thought it was really cool when you walked in, all the people that recognized you came over and said hello. Here we are, and 2025 for Biloxi Gulfport, and it's still going strong. It's as strong as ever.
Yeah. Well, do y'all play the na 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 na?
Yeah, that's another good story. So, you want to tell that one, or do you want me? So every week of Biloxi Week, J.K. can back me on this one. It was really cool, and I was kind of way ahead of our time at the back in the mid '90s, early '90s. Every practice we would have preparing for Biloxi, Coach Cuevas would pipe in the Biloxi Indian, the Biloxi Indian song as loud as you can. So we heard, actually,
in between classes.
He did it in school. So in between classes, we would have it piped in between classes, the Biloxi theme song of their band, right? Yeah. So we were heavily prepared for that game. It was awesome. What makes you most proud of really where this rivalry stands today?
Well, I'm proud that Gulfport's carried on that tradition of kicking their butt.
I love it. And look, I see another alumni just walked in, Joel Smith back there, former quarterback.
All right, Joel.
So, yeah, we've maintained that good, steady strategy and of beating them, right? But, look, it's homecoming week. This game makes me nervous. It's homecoming week, right? There's too many distractions, and it's always a physical game. So one more question for you. During your tenure, you built not just teams but a culture, right? What was the key? I've always wanted to ask you this. What was the key to creating a standard that lasted beyond your coaching years?
Well, it didn't start with me. It always started from up above. The tradition that's carried on Gulfport's tradition.
The Lindy
Callahan, Bert Jenkins, Prince Jones,
that's
9 state championships in track. Unbelievable. But, it's just helping carry on that tradition, and that's what Gulfport's doing right now.
Yep. So I got to touch on this as our last question, but this is the last year that the big house will no longer be there, right? Yep. We're moving our camp onto an on-campus stadium.
Right.
I'm looking at some of my former teammates out there, and I'm really unshaky about, I know it's time, but that was a special place. It still holds special memories to us. What does that mean to you, that stadium?
Lindy Callahan Field, but the thing about it is back when we played, they had to bring in bleachers.
Because of how many people would show up, right? The capacity.
They had to bring in bleachers and put them around the track.
Oh, wow.
For filling up.
That's cool.
My first year as a head coach at Gulfport, playing Biloxi the last game of the year. We played them the last game of the year, and Chad Edwards kicked a 41-yard field goal to win it with three seconds left on the clock. And then we had to turn around and play them the first round of the playoff.
Back to back.
Next week in Gulfport.
Back to back.
2 weeks in Gulfport, packed house.
Okay.
Unbelievable.
It was awesome.
BBB.
That's right. And I think Chad was our manager the year before, right?
He was.
And came on and kicked a 43-yard field goal to win the game. Yes. Big time kick. All right. I know I said it was my last thing, but I'm looking right at him. Probably one of the – look, I know the Chad Edwards kick is the biggest memory of Biloxi Gulfport probably. But to me, it's the hit that J.K. put on – is it Zeke, the running back, my junior year, the huge running back? I think he was averaging like 120 yards a game. J.K. came in and fit the run, second drive, and we didn't see Zeke the rest of the week. Awesome stuff. Thanks, Coach. Thanks for coming in. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Admiral Nation.
All right, Admiral Nation, that is Coach Ronnie Cuevas, legendary Coach Ronnie Cuevas, the leader in all-time victories at Gulfport. Hey, we got a great atmosphere here at Woody's. Tons of alumni out in the house, a lot of folks here. If you're in the neighborhood, please stop by. We're going to go to a break real quick, and when we come back, we will get back with Coach Pennick and start talking about the Biloxi game. Y'all stay with us.
Tonight's Coach's Corner is also being brought to you in part by Savvy Sliders, located on Highway 49 in Gulfport. Come experience hand-breaded, hand-grabbed, and handcrafted greatness to fuel you up for the big game. Satisfy your savvy taste with their wide range of sliders and other great treats. And these aren't your average sliders. They're more than a bite. They're bold, juicy, and built to actually fill you up. So, If you want to be the star of the pregame party, bring Savvy Sliders to the tailgate. Savvy Sliders. Eat savvy and be savvy. Hey, Admiral Nation. Your football team and coaching staff wants to take this opportunity to say thank you for all of the support and encouragement shown so far this year. The team's hard work is certainly paying off. The Admirals are sitting in first place in Region 4 and looking forward to the remaining opponents on the schedule. Admiral Nation, let's continue to show out for the Admiral football team. Let's make sure to have a lot of fun and make lots of noise at the remaining games. Don't forget the Admirals have only 2 home games remaining before the playoffs begin. And those 2 games involve big-time rivals in Biloxi and Harrison Central. We will host the Indians on October 24th and the Red Rebels on November 6th right here at Milner Stadium to close out the regular season. Admiral Nation, we need your continued support to finish the season strong and begin our playoff run. So, on behalf of the Admiral football team and coaching staff, thank you, Admiral Nation, and anchor down.
You can keep up with all things related to Gulfport Admiral Athletics by following the Gulfport Athletic Department on Facebook and Instagram. You can also find each individual team pages on major social media platforms for game day posts, schedule announcements, scores, and more.
Hey, welcome back to the Coach's Corner. And we've got Coach Pennick back up here on the set, and we are going to start talking about the Biloxi Indians this week. Coach, we turn the page on West Harrison and open it on Biloxi.
Turn the page, man. Turn the page, move next week to 1-0, being the goal.
Yep. So what stands out about them on film?
Yeah, Biloxi, the biggest thing, they've had a tough year from a win-loss standpoint, right? They played a couple tough games, or close games, really. They lost a heartbreaker early in the season to Holmes County Central, who's got several major Division I players. Then they lost a tough game to St. Martin, kind of on the last play of the game. Lost a couple tough ones later on, and then my point being of that is their win-loss record is not necessarily indicative of their talent level, right? They have plenty of ability. Like, he can make a highlight tape and you they catch your attention pretty quick. They have really capable receivers, a quarterback that can throw it. Yeah. It's a team that went up and gained up almost 400 yards of total offense against Picayune on the road.
That's right.
And lost a tight one. Yeah, lost a tight one, man. And so it's a very capable team. They're very, very well coached. Jamie Dubose over there, who's storied coach in the state of Alabama, man, has won a ton of titles. He knows what good football looks like, and he's trying to get that thing going in the right direction. They have a defensive coordinator, Eric Collier, who I'm very, very familiar with, and with my time at Ocean Springs, and he was the head coach at Theodore over there in Mobile.
Yeah.
We did a lot of different OTAs and played some spring games together, and I used to lean a lot on Eric as just a head coach kind of mentor type thing, right? And they did a great job on us defensively last season.
Yeah.
And so they're going to have a good plan, man. And so just having the capable athletes, having some guys up front that can do some things. They got a Nebraska commit on the offensive line, and they got some size in the front seven. And so it's going to be a challenge for us, to make sure on top of with the homecoming and all the different things, the distractions, to make sure that we play our best football.
Certainly. And they are very coached. I watched them play a few games. They played a few tight games, like you said, against some heavyweights.
Yeah.
Picayune, I believe the other one was Ocean Springs. They played pretty tight in the first half.
A little bit, yeah.
That D1 commit that's going to Nebraska is one Hayden Ainsworth, and
Yep.
he is a player. So, very well-coached team. We know they have talent. They got a huge D1 commit. It's homecoming week.
Yep.
How do you handle those distractions? I know we kind of touched on it the first segment.
Yeah.
But, it's a real thing.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is a real thing. It's something that every coach deals with, and, kind of the bigger the school, the bigger the distractions, right? And so I think, the coolest thing about it is you have evidence right now with our team, with our players, of when you eliminate distractions and when you practice a certain way to a standard, this becomes the result, right? And so you can lean back on that and say, hey, guys, how great did you feel after this? Well, this is the work you put in. And I told them all week, it's like, the main thing about Friday is Friday necessarily doesn't matter. And when I say that, I mean the result of Friday is going to come from Monday through Thursday.
Yeah.
And if we don't handle Monday through Thursday well, Friday night's not going to be what we want it to be. If we do handle Monday through Thursday well, then Friday's going to be what we want it to be. And so, at that point, then you just you let homecoming as your opponent, right?
Yep.
Not to take anything away from Biloxi, but if you eliminate the distractions and we play our best football, I feel really good about some of our matchups in the game. And so, going into that aspect of it, the biggest challenge is, is just handling those factors and just executing high-level football, right? We're not this close to playoff time. Do we ever want to take any steps back?
Sure. And with rivalries, man, it's always a little more faster and a little more physical.
That's right. That's exactly right. And so, the focus and intensity, attention to detail I can't really overstate how important that is for us. And so, We've kind of intentionally, now that Wednesday's over with and practice, and so we got nothing but run-throughs and stuff tomorrow. We've been a little extra tough as coaches. We've been trying to find little reasons to get mad, right? Just little reasons to kind of make them run extra or, have to do some bear crawls or just to kind of get their attention to make sure that we are where we want to be and we are practicing the exact way we want to practice. And so I felt good. I felt good about some of the results on that.
You touched on their defense earlier. Yeah. You're familiar with their defensive coordinator, but what are they going to what kind of problems may they pose for us offensively?
Well, the big thing is the quarterback can really push the ball downfield. He really can. And they have 2 or 3 receivers that present some challenges in coverage. And so when you do that, you have to make sure that you account for it, right? And so we talked about their offensive line and the way that they play. They got the major player in Ainsworth. That's a good player. So it's not like, you're not going to make a living just rushing 3, right? And playing coverage. So you got to commit a little bit to get pressure on the quarterback. Well, when you do that, they also have a little scat back in number 2 that can take it, man. He can really go. He hits a crease. He's not a very big kid, but, man, he gets to his top speed quick. And so you got to do a good job maintaining lanes and doing a good job tackling, or else you're going to give up some explosive plays. And so, you kind of have that little bit of a cat and mouse game with how much coverage do you play versus how much run support do you have, and can you get pressure versus the quarterback without leaving your receivers or leaving your DBs on an island. So it's a bit of a cat and mouse with our coaches and stuff, and making sure that we have everything we need to be successful.
Yeah, it sounds like as long as we maintain our discipline and composure, we'll be okay.
I think
play
so.
Gulfport High football.
Yeah, absolutely.
Offensively, are they pretty balanced?
Yes, yeah, they are. And like I said, they run the quarterback some. He's a good athlete, and so they have the mix and the read game. They run a little speed option, run a little bit of triple. In the kind of the newer sense of the word. They have some RPO aspects of it. They line up in a million formations, and so they always have kind of 4 to 5 new formations per week that they use to try to create some conflict and some difficulty. So I assume that we'll have a couple this week too that we'll have to adjust to, and so. It's big communication being on the thing. And then, the biggest aspect of it from us is we can shut all that stuff down if our defensive line plays dominant. If they do that and we play well up front and in the box, that ain't going to – and that leads to us being able to play more coverage, right? And it leads to us kind of shutting the passing game down, put pressure on the quarterback. They've turned the ball over a lot this year. And so – but you got to make them do it sometimes. You got to go force it. Yeah. And so if you get able to do those things and keep the pressure on them instead of really necessarily sitting back all the time – I think really putting our foot on the gas pedal and kind of taking the game in our stance is going to be the key to it.
Yep. So there's our defense. There's our offensive wrap up. What about special teams?
And, I want to take a step forward and kick off, right? And I hopefully we're kicking off a lot in the game, and so I want to see some coverage. I want to see some guys getting down there hustling. We've got some new pieces out there. This is kind of the week that we can finally use some of those ninth graders that we have, the freshmen, to come up. And so we feel like those are some roles that they can play on. And so I'm excited about what we can with the opportunity we have to do that. I really think that we got some opportunities in the return game to do some things. We've kind of made a couple of tweaks here and there. And so looking forward to seeing how that plays out for us and just trying to continue to sharpen our sword in that area of the game and making that more of a weapon rather than just something we kind of hold on to.
Yep. And like I said earlier, Coach Tywater, he continues to do marvelous things with that unit, man.
So creative.
It's very rare you go to a high school game and you're like really paying attention when you punt, kick off, or kick a field goal.
You do. Yeah, you do.
Come on now. Kicker's got to stick together. Well, there's the coaches' breakdown on Biloxi. They're solid offensive, defensively, and special teams. It's going to be a challenge. It's our big rivalry game. Admiral Nation, we need your support. We are steamrolling through the region. We need the momentum to stay with us. We need your support. We want to see you out there in the stands. Friday night against Biloxi, another regional game and another rivalry game. Hey, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll have Coach's final comments before the big game arrives. Y'all stay with us. We'll be back shortly.
Hey, Coach's Corner viewers. We'd like to give you a quick shout out to Exceed Physical Therapy, now serving in locations across Mississippi. Whether you're rehabbing from game day injuries, bouncing back from surgery, or just looking to boost strength, mobility, or balance, Exceed has got your back. And every other joint too. From vertigo and spinal rehab to sports-specific training, pelvic health, manual therapy, dry needling, and even TRX suspension training. They deliver more than expected. Their expert therapists craft a personalized recovery plan that gets you back in the game faster, stronger, and smarter. With 2 locations right here in Gulfport, one in Biloxi and one in Long Beach, Exceed's team of movement specialists is ready to help the Mississippi Gulf Coast exceed their recovery goals. So don't just recover, exceed. Visit exceedtherapy.com and find your nearest clinic. That's exceedtherapy.com. Get back in the game, keep competing, and let Exceed help you bounce back better than ever. Thank you, Exceed Physical Therapy, for supporting the Gulfport High Admiral football team.
I moved to Gulfport High School my 10th grade year. I was at another high school freshman year. 10th grade year I was virtual, so I hadn't stepped foot on the campus at all. The teachers, they didn't really even know who I was, but they were very helpful and accommodating anything. It was a hard time for everyone, so they were very helpful. 11th grade year when I finally moved on campus, it was great. Everyone was very supportive of the things I wanted to do. They have a place for everyone to belong, whatever you want to do in life, and it's really great.
You can follow WGTV.broadcasting on Facebook for links to live stream events and episodes of Admiral Ocean, the school's weekly news program. This is our 7th season and is shaping up to be the best season we've had yet. Coming up on this week's show, we have a recap of the first intercession of the school year. We catch up on what band and theater are currently up to, and we also have a look at how AI is impacting the classroom. And as always, we have the news headlines and an update on Admiral Sports. That's all coming up on episode 6 of Admiral Ocean Season 7. Catch our episodes as soon as they drop Friday mornings on Facebook and our YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the Coach's Corners, and we want to thank Woody's Roadside one last time for being such a fantastic venue to host our program each week. Thank you so much for supporting the Admiral football program. Tremendous crowd again tonight, Coach. It's just a really cool environment. If you haven't been out, guys, you have to come check it out. It's very fun. Like I said, there's some really famous, legendary teammates of mine in the house tonight. I see Jonathan King and Trey Sutton back there signing autographs. So if you're in the neighborhood, pop by. They have a booth set up, and they're signing autographs.
Yeah, they must be telling old war stories out there back there.
You know they are. There's a couple of lies being told over there. All right, Coach. So this is our final segment. We're going to wrap it up on the week. So as you lead your team into this homecoming and rivalry that spans more than a century.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Yeah.
What's your message? I mean, what's your message to the guys in the locker room, if you can kind of tell us today when practice ended, and then what you'll say before the game?
Just to keep taking a step forward, right? You know, I mean, we feel really good about us right about ourselves right now, and we feel really good about our preparation, and we feel really good about the execution and the way that we're playing. We feel really good about our mindset. At 9:30 on Friday night, let's feel even better about ourselves at that point, based off the way we played in the game. And so the biggest key is, you know, handling the last 48, right, to make sure that we do the things that are necessary to make sure that our mind is mentally ready to play, our body's physically ready to play. And, you know, obviously for us, you know, you're going to have the alumni here. You're going to have all the community here. It's a homecoming game. You're playing Biloxi. You're on a roll. What more could you really ask for? And so at that point in time, let's go make the Gulfport Nation proud. Let's go make Admiral Nation ready to rock and roll. And so we're going to be fired up, ready to play. Our guys are excited about representing the G. And so having all that aspect of it played in, if you're not ready to play your best at this point, man, I don't know what you're doing. I feel confident our guys are going to be excited and ready to go.
That's good stuff. So that's your message to the team and your staff.
Yeah.
But you mentioned all the alumni that's here, right? All the students. What's your message to them?
Man, it's an exciting time for Gulfport football right now. It's an exciting time for the Gulfport School District, the Gulfport community. You know, like I said, we got homecoming. We've won 4 in a row. We're playing really, really well. We got class reunions coming in town. We're playing BBB. We're getting ready to rock and roll. I mean, this is the time to jump on the bandwagon and jump on board and let's rock this team out and make ready to go. So Milner Stadium, 7:00 Friday night. If you're not there, there's no excuse to watch this thing at home on the live stream. I love Wes and them for doing the live stream, but put that thing on pause, fill the stands, be ready to rock and roll, make some noise while you're there, get into the band, all the stuff. It's just an exciting time, and so let's take this thing over and rock and roll.
I'm with you. Let's do it, Admiral Nation. Friday night, Milner Stadium, 7:00, Biloxi. Should we say anything more? Biloxi and homecoming.
BBB.
See y'all there. Thank you so much. We'll see y'all next week, Admiral Nation.
At this time, we'd like to thank all of the support provided for the Coach's Corner each week. Again, thank you to our signature sponsor, Woody's Roadside, for hosting us each week. And our other sponsors, Harborview Oral and Facial Surgery Center, Gulfside Periodontics of Gulfport, Revive and Thrive, Savvy Sliders, and Exceed Physical Therapy. Thank you guys for supporting Gulfport High Admiral football.